Okay, so how do you think they're going to go?
Look, I think they'll go all right. I mean, if you think about now, we're ninth in the world. We're ninth. Fiji is seventh. So, I mean, and Wales are in front of us. And, I know Eddie's come in this year, but you've got to say, right, listen, guys, this is going to be an experiment, but we're aiming for the 27 World Cup. At the moment, he said after the game he's not going to change the 33. But realistically, he's got Foley over there and O'Connor playing Australia A. He's going to pull one of them in because goal kicking, you can't win unless you've got a good goal kicker.
Are we a danger to not even get out of the group stage, do you think?
Well, I think injury-wise, you get a lot of injuries. You don't know what's going to happen. The French have lost one of their best players before. You've got Ireland lose a couple of players. It's a brutal sport now, and we've got the bunker now. I don't know why we've got all these rugby league terms in rugby union. We brought a 22 dropout. I mean, we've never had from goal line dropout in my life. But we're trying to emulate rugby league. And if you watch rugby league is played the way rugby used to. They attack. It's all short passes. Now, we're spiraling 30-metre passes. We're playing league while league's playing rugby.
Very good, very good. And the fact that, you just mentioned it before, but the fact that Coops and Hoops are both left behind,
Yeah.
did you understand that strategy?
Well, when you go to World Cup, you need experienced players. 21-year-olds don't win World Cups. I mean, I went to the World Cup in 87 in Australia. We went to 91, I was 27, 28. But we'd been together for years and years, and it was 1988, I think, when Bob Dwyer came back, and we had 9 Queenslanders, 8 New South Welshmen. So combination-wise, we knew each other very well. But now we've got 5 teams, and you've got players playing overseas. You've got Will Skelton, doesn't even play in Australia. So if you look at the All Black test a couple of weeks ago, you had Tate McDermott, you had a young number 10, hadn't played with Tate McDermott before. You had Karevi, who plays in Japan, hadn't played with number 10. And you're supposed to play one of the best teams in the world. How does that work? You've got to, the more you play together in a team environment, you understand the anticipating, I suppose the excitement, but also you want to understand the game and follow and do something different. At the moment, we're all individuals.
Okay, who's going to win the World Cup? Who do you think?
Look, I think France and South Africa, I thought Ireland, but I mean, they played Samoa on the weekend, they won 17-13. Because now you're playing a different type of rugby. When you're playing against the same group all the time, you know the strengths and weaknesses. But when you got Fiji, I mean, look what they did to England. I mean, anything's possible now. But look, Australia's going to be there. I mean, Eddie's Eddie, that's the way he is. He's a lot of talk up. But I just think that France at home, if they don't win this World Cup, I think they'll never win. I mean, they're under a lot of pressure. They have been playing the best rugby. They are playing the French style, which is running rugby. Fiji, unfortunately, Folau's not playing for Tonga, which is a big shame because he would have been unbelievable for them. So, look, I think you've got 4 or 5 teams at the moment. Again, you lose one big player, the whole team changes. Okay,
let's having a few issues with the media as well.
Yeah, look, I think it's just shows you where rugby is at the moment. And, obviously the Football World Cup was very successful because if you think about it, that's the first real international sporting event we've had since 2018 Commonwealth Games in the Gold Coast. There's been nothing, So Aussie Rules is obviously a local sport. Rugby League is really a local sport where you got football and rugby, international sports. So this World Cup, even though it's in France, and I think if you look at rugby over the last 20 years, we've gone backwards because in Australia, when I was playing, if you don't entertain people, they can go and watch rugby league, Aussie Rules and football now, and we're on paid TV. No one wants to watch paid TV.
So let's talk about that first. You think the fabric of the game is actually costing itself the way it's gone, like the entertainment factor is, yeah?
Well, I mean, we realise, obviously playing in the 80s, and, you had rugby league was very dominant, so was Aussie Rules, but we got people interested because we played a style of rugby that everybody wanted to play, and they knew who the Wallabies were. Now everyone knows who Eddie Jones is, but they've got no idea who a Wallaby is. I coached my son at a couple of sessions at school, and a couple of weeks ago was I think Australia was playing South Africa, and I said to the guys after training, so who's going to watch the rugby tonight? 3 hands go up. And I said, what do you say? Oh, we watch league. Because they're not interested.
I read something recently, so you might have been a question to the kids, name 5 Wallabies.
Oh, Yeah, no one knows. Nobody knows. It's scary because I mean I played for Australia for 15 years, and you know when you win it's great. Australians love winners, but you've got to entertain. And you know Eddie's come out last couple of weeks. He brought Hansen in. He said, "Oh, Hansen, we're going to play Randwick style rugby." I played at Randwick for 15 years. You can't just turn up and switch on and switch off. If you haven't got the skills, and you can ask Michael Checker as well from 2019, he wanted to play a certain style. But if you haven't got the skills, you can only play a certain style of rugby. And at the moment, we've seen the French game on the weekend. You know, Australia played reasonably well. But again, you can see, we haven't got a number one goal kicker in the world. You cannot turn up to a World Cup for 23-year-olds and expect under pressure he's going to kick all the goals. It does not happen that way. So I don't know where all these comments are coming from, but when you see the actual project, the game, it's very, very frustrating.
Been
No.
acknowledged in when you have reunions and stuff like that. So just take us through that as well.
Yeah, well, we had if it wasn't for Alan Jones, we had a Grand Slam reunion. Next year it's 40 years. And, you know, Rugby Australia don't do anything for us. And Alan does, he organises it, and then he has the 86 Bledisloe Cup Eden Park, which is the last time we won there, and he has a combined function for the players. I mean, then you watch the test match against South Africa versus Argentina in Ellis Park a couple of weeks ago, and they trot out all the World Cup winning players. And we've got to have our own little function. That's our history. You know, I mean, we went over there in 1984, we played 18 games, Saturday, Wednesday, got 20 quid a day, and we won the Grand Slam, and we haven't done it since. So isn't that, should be proud of our history, you know?
To show it can be done.
Well, it's not hard, but for some reason, the administrators don't worry, it's about them now. You know, it's like they don't want to be part of what we've done, they want to make their own history, but unfortunately at the moment, it's going backwards.